What's up guys, John from Beyond ARTV. Let's talk about Fall Out Boy for a minute. Now you know that Fall Out Boy are one of the most prominent names in the world of pop rock and even mainstream music, one of the only bands from the early to mid 2000s scenes that have managed to still stay relevant to this day, having top 40 hits like Uma Thurman and Centuries off of their most recent album, and I'm sure Irresistible, featuring Demi Lovato, the new version that is, will probably end up charting on the Billboard Hot 100 as well. Now, with Fall Out Boy, I enjoy a good portion of their music, but there's always aspects that I don't really care for, especially since they've returned from the hiatus. Now that started back in 2009, playing their final show after some of the Fully Ado tour dates, and they just called it quits for a while. They come back, announced this huge, massive single, My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark, Light 'Em Up. And the unveiling process of that, understandable for it to be gigantic, for the kind of the rollout process even for that album. But I feel like something changed in Fall Out Boy around that time. In 2013, they started releasing these big teasers and stuff, and everything that they would post to their Facebook and their Twitter account would come with a very long and over-the-top message about, well, I wrote this song to encapsulate the feel of something, something, something. Buy it on iTunes, right here. And I've noticed that they have pretty much the same marketing scheme for everything that they release, and everything they release is a lot of stuff. Since 2013, they have released not only 2 studio albums in the form of Save Rock and Roll and American Beauty, American Psycho, but they've also released a single remix of My Songs featuring 2 Chainz. I think there was a remix EP of some of the tracks from that first album since the hiatus, the first album back from the hiatus, and then of course you had the punk rock leaning songs that they had on Love, Sex, Death, some of the other tracks that are evading me right now, but they had a little punk rock EP that they recorded with Ryan Adams. Then of course they struck back with Centuries, and then an album that followed right after, and a remix recently of the Demi Lovato Irresistible track. It's just, they're really putting themselves out there, and I feel like what I'm getting at here is the fact that Fall Out Boy are a commercial band that really care about numbers and chart success. Now that's quite unfortunate because I like Fall Out Boy. At the heart of it, I do. But I see them, whenever bands like Linkin Park say they're a business, it comes off more genuine because at least they seem like they, you know, the way they interact on social media and that sort of thing. And I'm not accusing any specific member of being greedy, it's just I think the management of Fall Out Boy is to blame here. Since I've been seeing Post over and over again, they hype up other bands that are on the label, of course, but even reading through Twitter, I noticed that people were getting really sick of seeing Fall Out Boy constantly tweeting about the new Panic at the Disco song coming out on DCD2, Pete Wentz's record label that he started originally as Decadence Records back in 2004 or 5, I believe it was. Panic at the Disco being his first signees. I understand it, but at the same time, they just kind of beat you over the head with, buy this, get us to #1, we need that #1 song, we need that #1 album. And it's worked out for them because they do have high charting songs, but the way they go about it, I don't know. It kind of feels like whenever back in the day, whenever Katy Perry was releasing all those remixes off of her album Teenage Dream, it just seemed like kind of a cheat because, you know, you couldn't quite get enough hype behind it, so you had to pull some trick out of the hat. And with Fall Out Boy now, I feel like they know that they have a big following on social media, on Facebook, Twitter, and they just kind of berate you with all of these tweets about picking this up on iTunes, do this, go pre-order this. And now, the main thing that I'm driving at here is the fact that they have a new remix album coming out. No, not for free, like you might expect. It's not like a mixtape or something like that, and like, oh, here's a gift to the fans that you can stream online. It always seems to be first, go pick it up on iTunes. Not stream it on Spotify even, or stream it on Apple Music. Go pre-order it. Go buy this. And the reason why I'm having a problem with this most recent thing that they're releasing is that it's a remix album, and it features some of their favorite rappers. I've questioned Fall Out Boy's taste over the past few years. I really have. I mean, they had Lil Wayne on Tiffany Blues on Folia Do. Not awful, but at the same time, not super excited about it. They had 2 Chainz, of all people in the world, on the My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark remix. And now let's look at the track listing for this new remix EP, which is titled Make America Psycho Again, and it's got like a blood red cover on it. We have Irresistible featuring Migos. Okay, and I'll say this before I even go through the track listing. Some of these are good names that I'm kind of genuinely interested in, I guess, but at the same time, not enough to make me listen to the whole thing just because I see this as just being god-awful. Okay, we have Irresistible featuring Migos, American Beauty, American Psycho featuring A$AP Ferg, Centuries featuring Juicy J. I'm gonna let you decide on that one for yourself. The Kids Aren't Alright featuring Azalea Banks. Kind of even pains me to say that, but again, I'm gonna save my thoughts until I get through the track listing. Uma Thurman featuring Wiz Khalifa, Jetpack Blues featuring Big Crit, could be interesting. Novocaine featuring Uzi, not exactly sure who that is. 4th of July featuring OG Mako, bitch you guessed it. Favorite Record featuring I Love McCoonin. Has he done anything since Tuesday? Immortals featuring Black Thought. Not really familiar with him, them, not exactly sure. Could be interesting. I've heard good things, I believe, if I'm thinking of the same person. And Twin Skeletons featuring Joey Badass, which I reviewed Joey's album and it was pretty interesting. Here's the problem I have though. It's kind of just a remix album. It's the same songs with some rap verses added to them. And of course, fans are gonna probably flock to it, pick it up, pay for it again, and it just seems like Fall Out Boy are draining and making every single dollar that they can. Constant touring since they've come back. It's just like they can't step out of the spotlight for 2 seconds. And if they care about the health of their band, how are they going to beat themselves and drive themselves into the ground again? They already did this one time with the constant touring, releasing albums all the time, up until 2008. You know, we had From Under the Cork Tree in 2005, and then Infinity and on High in 2007, and in 2008 we already have Folia Do dropping, and it's just like they wore themselves out because they were constantly, you know, making TV appearances or on radio talk shows, and of course promoting their tour that they were out on at the time. And they've already got Win Tour lined up with AWOL Nation in Paris, and it's just like you guys just got off of a massive tour with Wiz Khalifa and Hoodie Allen, which no, I would not have gone to that show. I would not have paid money to go see Wiz Khalifa. I'm sorry. I know some people like his music, but there's styles that just don't mesh well together. I'm sorry. I'm sure that Wiz put on a fine show. And I've seen Hoodie before, of course. Hoodie's a great guy, and I'm sure he put on an excellent show as well. But I'm not going to go pay to see these 3 people that don't fit together at all in concert. It just seems like their styles, their thoughts, and really the band as a whole is just all over the place. And yes, I liked their album American Beauty, American Psycho. I really did. Might even make my top albums of the year list. Not sure. Probably won't, honestly, but it'll probably at least get an honorable mention because I thought it was pretty strong, even stronger than their last album. But overall, I think the main problem that I'm having with Fall Out Boy is just the fact that they seem like, I understand that bands pretty much are a business, and bands like Linkin Park have admitted that, but it just seems like the business side gets in the way more than the music. It's just like they're constantly just throwing like, alright, we're gonna go on, you know, and do this late night talk show again. We're gonna play Centuries, and you're gonna hear Centuries everywhere. And I think that the label has some sort of agreement, and this is another problem I have, is the fact that Panic at the Disco literally follows in every fucking footstep of Fall Out Boy. It's like they're not their own band anymore. I understand that it's mainly Brendan Urie, and everyone else just kind of plays a limited role. Dallin on the bass, but other than that, I don't really know exactly who contributes to what. I think it's mainly Brendan basically controlling where everything goes. Panic have had some cool songs. Emperor's New Clothes, the one that just dropped. Pretty eerie song, but I like it. But here's the problem. They have the exact same marketing layout as Fall Out Boy. They have these big gigantor type posts that try to make everything so epic, and they constantly, whenever the song drops, whenever Victorious came out, I think I saw them post on their Facebook about 20 times, and their Twitter was just blowing up. We're going to do follow backs for everyone that buys our song on iTunes. Basically, like, hey, give us money and we'll follow you back and never even look at your Twitter and somehow like make you feel like you accomplished something because you got Panic at the Disco or Fall Out Boy to follow you on Twitter. It's just, it's deceptive to kids because it really makes them feel like they're, I guess, connecting to something, and it's just for the bands themselves, which I understand. I don't really think that this is the bands themselves doing this. Understand that. I think it's the label and the management. The way they handle things, the majority of the time, I don't think it's really Brendan. I don't think it's Patrick. I don't think it's Joe posting these constant messages. I think that's kind of out of their control and out of their hands. But I just don't really care for the way that it's set up. I don't see anybody else really do that and really have the intensity and just the constant push to do that, other than somebody like Azalea Banks, who follows up racist, homophobic tweets with "buy broke with expensive taste on iTunes." Nice hashtag. Go fuck yourself, Azalea Banks. I've made a couple of rant videos about her, and then I've just deleted them because I just exploded. That footage will never be seen just because I went off. She is a terrible piece of shit human being. I think her music is absolutely god-awful as well, and the fact that Fall Out Boy apparently considers her as one of their favorite rappers really just makes me question them and just wonder about where they're going as a band. I don't know. Wrapping it up though, what do you guys think? I'm not excited at all about this new remix EP. I don't care a thing about it. I think it should at least be a mixtape for anyone who wants to, but as I said on my Twitter, I would rather put myself in a wood chipper than listen through the majority of these things. There's a few tracks that I'm interested in, but for the most part, you can't make me. You cannot make me listen. Sorry. What do you think about Fall Out Boy? Too commercial, too in the spotlight, need to take a step back. That's kind of how I feel. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and of course, hit the like button on this video. This was mainly just a free-form thinking out loud type video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sorry it was a little long, but just venting and airing some thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys very soon.